Interesting. I was actually talking with someone else here recently about ethics, and I remembered a column I did. Well, it wasn't a column, it was a story that I wrote when I was on the education beat at the Eagle. And there was a columnist at the East High student newspaper who wrote sort of a homophobic opinion column that was published, and it created like quite an uproar at the school. And it kind of went viral, and he was, the person who wrote the column was attacked pretty severely. And anyway, it sort of created its own news story. And I ended up writing a story about that column and kind of the uproar about it, including some challenges that the student newspaper, shouldn't have published it, or that it should have to go through administrative, approval to get anything in the paper. So there were some sort of journalistic ethics questions there as well. Anyway, I ended up writing that story and then and named the kid because obviously his name was in the news. It was, he was well known by that point as being the writer of that. He did not end up talking to me for the story, but we put portions of what he had written in that column in our news story. So then, like 5 or 6 years later, I think he was maybe a freshman or a sophomore at the time, so maybe it was even longer than that. When he was out of college and looking for jobs, he called me and asked that we take that column offline, because basically he was applying for jobs, and when people Googled his name, the uproar over his column that he wrote as a high schooler was coming up in Google searches.
Right.
And he no longer believed that, and has changed. And it sort of got me thinking. Now our Eagle policy at the time, and still is, I'm sure, is that we don't unpublish anything on our website, or remove anything that was on our website years ago. For a number of reasons. One being, you can't really just sort of erase that from existence because it exists, even if it's not on our website. And then, but more than that, we just don't unpublish things because we're a paper of record. But it got me thinking about sort of the dilemma of how much and what should we print, especially of or about minors, people that were, he was under 18 at the time. And it sort of got me thinking about that. And I remember having a lot of discussions with my editor about that at the time.